Hello, fuck nuggets. In fact, let's not use slurs in the first 2 minutes of my videos. Hello, you fuckwads. Welcome to another video by me, Twisty. This time I'm gonna be reviewing a video made by JustSomeGuy. If you don't know who JustSomeGuy is, I've actually covered him once before. If you haven't seen my Rakita Law versus JustSomeGuy video, me reviewing his debate with Rakita Law, Rakita very capitalist, hates human beings, hates it when people have have healthcare, and JustSomeGuy actually being somewhat of a decent human being, arguing in favor of socialized healthcare. It seems. Yeah, it was a good little debate that I reviewed. I suggest you go watch it. If you don't know who JustSomeGuy is, he is an anti-SJW YouTuber who puts out videos criticizing just anything related to pop culture. He covers comic books, nerd culture, all that stuff, all that jazz. But he always talks about this stuff from an anti-SJW perspective. From what I understand, he doesn't seem to be like a bigot of any sort. He seems to be pro LGBT in his core values, but he seems to come from the perspective of the progressives are going too far. They're always prioritizing LGBT messaging and making everything woke. They're prioritizing woke politics over a good story or this and that and whatever. And oh, look at what these Twitter lefties do. Look at how weird they are. It's the shoe on head bit. Most of his videos are of that nature and always criticizing this piece of media is shit because this bad writing and blah blah blah. He was getting into Rings of Power. I don't think he made any. I didn't watch his Rings of Power videos at all. I like the Rings of Power series. I think it's really good, and he begs to differ. I don't really care. Whatever. But every once in a while, he dips his toes into actual politics, and when he does so, there are 70% base, 75% base, 60% at the lowest. He spoke out against the Don't Say Gay bill. His right-wing audience was not happy about his opinion on that. And again, like I covered the socialized healthcare thing. He recently made a video dogging out Kanye, and he also made a video making fun of a Republican candidate and how fucking god-awful they are. And this time, he made the mistake of criticizing what seems to be a progressive was making a joke again at a Jeremy Prime. Jeremy Prime, if you don't know who he is, I believe from what I've seen, he seems to actually be very right-wing and anti-LGBT. And again, he's one of those anti-SJWs that constantly puts out quartering style bullshit videos. And Jeremy Prime puts out a tweet talking about Mario Kart. And just talking about how good the trailer was. Trailer was good. I loved love seeing the Mario Kart trailer. And the Mario movie, he made a joke about it being Mario Kart. But the Mario movie does look pretty good in my opinion, very good. And so Jeremy Prime puts that out, and talking about how good it is. And Norman Brink, this person, it's just a random normie on Twitter, replied to his tweet saying, "Disgusting. They had to include woke pride flag nonsense." Now, the funny thing about that is, this tweet is a joke. I've actually looked at this person's Twitter account. They seem to be, from the tweets and replies that they did, they're always coming from a progressive standpoint. Pretty much always, it seems. And I believe this person was just joking when they said this. They were making fun of the right. They were parodying the right with this reply to the tweet. JustSomeGuy found that and actually took it serious. He thought this was an actual legitimate right winger, and so we made this video criticizing this person, and chaos ensues. So, with all that being said and laid out, and let's continue.
I need a 30-minute dissertation to trigger the left. With a right, all I need is a bag of Skittles. When I started my channel, I said that if progressives kept injecting identity politics into everything, eventually people would see anything featuring women, blacks, gays, or trans people and go, it's that SJW nonsense, and trash it. Well, here we are. I saw this tweet making the rounds, and I haven't stopped smiling. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers tweeted about the new Mario trailer, saying that he loved the Mario Kart scene. Then he got this response from a very precious snowflake. Quote, disgusting they had to include woke pride flag nonsense. Oh, pobrecito. Show me on your non-existent desert sky daddy where the gays hurt you. What he's referring to is a rainbow-colored racetrack. See, it's woke because gay people use the rainbow as their symbol. So if you see a rainbow, that means the gays are trying to indoctrinate your kids into their gay agenda because only groomers like rainbows. I can't imagine how stupid you have to be triggered by a rainbow, but I can't imagine how funny it is to see it. Just imagine this dude outside after it rains. Like, oh shit, there's a rainbow. The sky is woke. The sky is woke. If he went into a cereal aisle, he'd be having conniptions. Tricks, Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles, it's like a gay conspiracy. They're even putting it in the names. How long before someone claims Lucky Charms secretly sexualizes children by showing them running off with this ginger leprechaun in skin-tight pants who tells them his treats are magically delicious? Like, if I show you a pack of Starbursts, will you just pass out? I'm tempted to find someone in the MAGA hat and shake a pack of Skittles at them just to see what happens. You won't taste the rainbow? It's not like it's your first time. I make fun of it because it is retarded.
Here's the funny thing about this. Again, the person he's talking about right now is not even on the right. They're they're progressive parroting the right. These are funny, hilarious zingers, though. Actually, it would be better if they were directed towards somebody that was actually right wing. This is friendly fire. This is all this is. But he goes on. He says some stuff that I feel the need to criticize.
But seriously, it's interesting watching the right become so anti-woke, they're basically woke. Or really, they've gone back to their old ways, searching for something, anything that offends them. They've claimed for years that the problem wasn't the presence of women, blacks, gays, or trans people, but identity politics. Now, that pretense is gone. Everything is leftist. Everything is Marxist. Everything is woke. And they have to point it all out. Gee, that sounds so familiar. It's nothing but identitarianism.
The funny thing is, he's not actually wrong. This is exactly what they do. They've always been like this, to be honest. Nothing's really changed. They've just been kind of quiet about it. The right literally just has an innate disdain for anything regarding the queer community. That's just it. They hate it. They don't want to see it exist. They don't want to see it normalized. They don't want to see it anywhere. God forbid one of their kids come out as gay. Oh God. The sky is falling. Everyone's dying. Fire, brimstone, hail, rain, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Just a Pavlovian response to seeing groups they've always disliked. So-called red tubers might call this the right going mask off, but that implies there was a mask on in the first place, but there never was. I said this shortly after I started my channel. The pendulum being pushed to the far left would eventually swing back to the far right, and all that shit the right claimed they no longer believed, like their animosity towards certain groups of people, will come back out at full force, and here we are. So, progressives, are you happy? I know you're tempted to blame far-right extremists for this, and you're not entirely wrong. Look what they did to Kanye. However, you made that possible. American culture had reached a point where this wouldn't have flown 10 years ago. Everyone, including some conservatives, would have clowned this dude off the internet for saying something so stupid.
Here's the sad part that he doesn't really seem to understand regarding politics in general. Right-wing ideology is completely, like, especially when we're looking in the context of modern times. And when I say modern times, I'm dating back to all the way back in like the 20s and even further back than that, right? Their ideology is all about This is all about the standard being a heterosexual straight couple, and anything outside of that, hell, even a straight white couple. We don't even, let's not bring race into this. Their ideology is about the one and only standard is to be a heterosexual couple interlocked in a monogamous marriage, and the wife being a subservient, being submissive, and doing whatever the husband wants, and the husband being the strong, stoic, emotionless rock, and doing and working hard, like working himself practically to death to provide for the family. That is the standard that they want. That is the only standard that they believe is necessary for society to thrive, to survive and thrive. And anything outside of that is bad and ought to be punished accordingly. Now, the thing is, there are ways to get there. The only way is through fascism. Why? Because not everyone wants to live by that model. Not everyone wants to live that lifestyle. Sure, there are people that do want to do that, but not everyone wants to, because gay people are going to exist whether you want them to or not. Trans people are going to exist whether you want them to or not. So if you want every individual to fit within that mold, to fit within that standard, there is going to have to be fascist takeover. You would have to remove democracy. Democracy does not need to exist. Democracy has to be completely removed for this ideology to take hold. That is what the entirety of conservative ideology and right-wing ideology is all about. And there's even more to it than just that. But when we're talking about LGBT shit, that is what it is right there. That is a standard, and the only way to get there is to remove democracy. That's it. Left-wing ideology is like, hey, you can be gay, you can be non-monogamous, you can have multiple sexual partners, you can be polyamorous, you can do whatever the fuck you want to. Just please don't diddle kids. That's it. That's pretty much it. And if you're trans, and if you're a child and you come out as trans, there are ways to deal with that. There are ways to handle that. There are responsible ways to go about that. We already know what those ways are. Puberty blockers aren't bad, and they're not even going to get put on puberty blockers unless we know that this child has gender dysphoria. But we're getting too deep into the weeds with this whole conversation. But those are the key differences between the right and the left in regards to modern times, especially just in regards to the entirety of American history right now. And when we're talking about the West, it goes farther than that.
But now that's probably not the response he's getting, at least not from his own side. Progressives delved too greedily and too deep, and now you've released Obama's Bane. I told you this would happen, and like I predicted, it's not limited to overreactions to movie trailers. Back in June, you had schools in one Florida county warning teachers and staff not to wear rainbow-colored clothing or place pictures of their same-sex spouses on their...
Oh, by the way, when I said all that, I say all of that to say that it is not the left's fault for pushing back against ideology that is inherently anti-democratic. It's not our fault that we just simply want gay people to exist. And like, what do we really do? Like, what is he saying that yeah, I want you to think about this for a minute. He's saying that it's our fault that the right has gotten more extreme. What exactly did we do that made them more extreme, huh? Putting gay people in media? We didn't do that. Companies did that. Companies did that to cater to us. We didn't really Some of us asked for it, to be honest with you. But ultimately, the choice was theirs to do that to begin with. But they did so anyway because they wanted to make money. That's just how it is. It's not our fault for wanting to see that in media. We just wanted to see it in media. That's it. Is that so wrong? Is that so deserving of punishment? Is that deserving of a hate crime? No. Wanting people to have the right to be gay in society and being loud about that, and sometimes being a little bit cringy on Twitter and saying really, really weird, dumb shit on the internet, that's not deserving of the entire LGBT community deserving of hate crimes. This is not the right being extreme about like the most insignificant shit. It's not on us, okay? It's really not. And I criticize a lot of the terminally online left that says really whack dumb shit. It's definitely deserving of criticism, but it's not deserving of attention beyond, wow, that's dumb, move on with their life. Because at the end of the day, that's the worst that the left really does, to be honest. It's just be weird and cringe online.
Their desks so they wouldn't violate the Don't Say Gay bill. You could see this in the reaction to Disney's Strange World bombing in theaters. All available evidence points to it bombing because Disney failed to promote it. However, the narrative from the right, as one commenter put it, is, quote, kids are taken to movies by their parents who are predominantly heterosexual. Heterosexual parents don't want to take their kids to see LGBTQ MNOP plus asterisk hashtag up, down, left, right, whole day press start media. Now, I know that's not true because not all, and I would guess not even most straight parents have a problem with their kids seeing gay or trans people in person, let alone in media. That problem is largely held by one political group primarily because of their religious beliefs, a group that had basically been laughed into silence. However, because somebody, it was you, decided to introduce the Baskin-Robbins of sexual orientation and gender identity, these clowns now have clout, and now the mere presence of a gay person, real or fictional, is somehow indoctrination. Do you see how far this has gone?
You see what he's saying here now? He's saying gender identity is the reason why the right is being so aggressively anti-LGBTQ. Gender identity did this whole like this whole thing about gender identity politics, that whole thing, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry, it doesn't exist. Nobody really came up with that label except for the right. From what I can tell, nobody else uses that except for right. The whole gender politics, only the right uses that to malign the left. All it is just affirming trans people and affirming trans kids. And the right has a problem with that. They hate the idea that kids can be trans. And what's the worst that'll happen to their kids, like with their gender identity being affirmed? Wow, your little fucking XY chromosome child is now wearing a dress. Ooh, so scary. Oh my god, my child is getting put on puberty blockers that really aren't dangerous at all. And they're not even going to be put on those blockers unless they're actually verified to have gender dysphoria. Ooh, so scary. Medical diagnosis and treatments. Ah.
They're triggered by fucking rainbows. And it's not going to end there. We just saw what happened at Club Q and their response to it. The next time, and there will be a next time, there'll be children present. And while it will be a thing to behold the people who claim they want to protect the children try to find a way to blame the kids or their parents or excuse what happens, now do you see the cost of the game you're playing? You need to dial it back. You're making this fight harder than it needs to be. You need to stop with the identity politics bullshit before this gets so far out of hand that you have nothing to hold on to. Now, I know there are right-wingers fiercely typing comments about how I hate the right, so let me remind you that I watch right-wing YouTube channels, read their social media feeds, and watch their news networks. I'm well-versed in your arguments. I just don't agree with them. I understand that you believe that you're always right and that your side has never done anything wrong. You're welcome to believe that. I don't have to. I know you don't like being criticized. That's fine. Nobody likes being criticized. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And to be honest, your complaints would have more weight if you weren't accusing everyone left of center of being pedophiles or communists or immoral or the cause of everything bad in the world. Don't take my word for it. Just read Jordan Peterson's Twitter feed. I'm criticizing you the same way I criticize the left. I understand you don't like being on the receiving end of it. You're welcome to feel that way. That's not going to change my criticism. And I'm not going to put on pillow soft kids gloves just in case I might hurt your feelings. You dish out some pretty harsh criticism of the left. Don't be that guy who can dish it out but can't take it. You might be tempted to tell me to stay out of politics and stick to what I do best, what I've been doing for the last 5 years, which, as I recall, was talking about identity politics. So, yeah, when you tell me to stay in my lane, I am in my lane. If you don't want to get hit, I suggest you move. I'm expressing my opinions, not yours. I'm not Tim Pool. I'm not Dave Rubin. I'm not going to spout your talking points back at you because that's what you want to hear. And I don't change my opinions for money, likes, or clicks. You said for years that you're the ones who want to have mature debates. Okay, well, that includes people vehemently disagreeing with you. If you're the mature adult you claim to be.
Yeah, I disagree with, well, not half. I'll be generous and say, 40-30% of what he's saying in his video. His criticisms of the left make no sense at all whatsoever. Because all the left really does, like the worst that we do, is just say really dumb, cringe shit online, and that really has no bearing over the grand scheme of things within politics. And the only time it really does have any bearing is when right wing politicians take that and blow it out of proportion to make it a huge culture war issue, and then use that to drive policy against queer people. But beyond that, not really. And again, like I just said, that part is not even our fault. That's the right's fault for spinning false narratives about who we as the left are. I would really love to hold him down on this. I hope to God I one day talk to this dude, because I really want to actually have a conversation about this shit, because this is really dumb. Like, I really want to know what he means about in regards to his criticism. Like what exactly do we do that that causes the right to lash out this way? Like, really? Like, what actually does he mean when he says that? Affirming trans kids? He didn't really say that in the video. He doesn't say anything that we do that drives the right to do this at all. He just says that because we're going, quote, too far, the right lashes out violently. So yeah, I really would one day hope to hold his feet to the fire on this claim that he's making. But yeah, beyond that, with all that being said, if you enjoy this video, please like, comment, share, whatever. I don't care. Uh, I love you all. I like. I don't eat babies. I'm proud that I'm gay. And what else do we got? What else should I say at the end of these videos? Fuck you, and fuck your dad in the ass on behalf of me. And that all being said, I'll catch y'all later. Enjoy this meme, and peace.
You all testicles and no shaft.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to your shaft?
There is
Robert?
powerful niggardry at work here.